Hey everybody, it's Jim Johnson. I am the project manager and line editor for the Star Trek Adventures role-playing game and the Captain's Log solo RPG, both published by Modiphius Entertainment. And I am here with a line update for you. Long overdue. I had meant to do one of these in January, and then I meant to do one of these in February, and all of a sudden here we are mid-March, and I'm just not getting around to doing this. I've been so busy working on Star Trek Adventures for reasons which I will, kind of allude to here. Although I think most of the news is already out, so I'll just give you a quick update here if you haven't already heard that news, and just give you a few updates here. So first of all, the Federation Klingon War Tactical Campaign book is now out and available, wending its way into distribution and retail. The copies that were shipped from the United Kingdom over to the United States for retail and distribution arrived in America earlier than expected, which is a nice rarity for us. Normally things are a little bit delayed or just takes distribution a while to get from one to the other, but they arrived earlier in America, so we decided to push the release date up a couple weeks. We were going to release this book on March 27th. We decided to release it last week on or about March 12th, I think, somewhere last week. So everybody who has pre-ordered the book should be getting it in the mail. In fact, I got my comp copy in the mail the other day, yesterday, in fact. So that's it's now here. I had the print proof, which I did the unboxing for, but this is my actual comp copy, and it's getting the comp copy for me personally, which is when I know that a project has come to its full conclusion, right? So, got the comp copy in hand. I can mark this project as fully complete and off my plate, except for any errata that we have to fix or any minor changes we have to fix. But this project can be now fully put to bed. So we've been doing, myself, lead writer Al Spader, and Michael Dismuke on Continuing Conversations, and there's been a bunch of other interviews and articles and discussions, ongoing blog posts on the Modiphius website. So if you're curious about the book, check out all that wealth of information that's out there about it. We've got even more interviews and discussions coming up about it. So just a wealth of material that you can use for your game. The tactical campaign in particular has excited a lot of people, especially old FASA fans like myself who used to play the Starship combat simulator in the old FASA version. There's a whole tactical component to this book that you can use in any era of play, not just the Federation Klingon War, but just any wartime situation in the Star Trek franchise. You can make use of it. So certainly look around for that information. Hit us on Facebook, Discord, the Modiphius Discord, the Modiphius forums, etc. We're not hard to find out there in Star Trek Adventures land. So be sure to check that out. So basically, the first piece of news there is the Federation Klingon War campaign book is out. It's available. You can buy it by itself in PDF format if you want to do that, or you can buy the print version, of course. And it'll be working its way into retail here, however long it takes the retail distribution channels to get the books from the various distributors, right? That's something that's not entirely in Modiphius's control. It just depends on how long that stuff takes to ship out. So it is on its way. So that's the big piece of news on that. Next big piece of news, of course, is that most of you are probably aware of already, is that the Star Trek Adventures 2nd edition has been announced, and there'll be a lot more news about this coming up in coming weeks and months here, so just stay tuned for that. Hop on over to the Modiphius website. You can see it's modiphius.net, Star Trek Adventures 2E sign up, and sign up for the mailing lists. There's one for the UK, there's one for the US. I encourage you to sign up for those mailing lists, get all the information you can possibly want to know about the 2nd edition and what it means for you in your current games, and what it means for you as new players, new game masters moving forward. There's a piece of art here on the sign-up sheet. This is, in fact, the cover art for the standard edition of the 2nd edition core rulebook. So it gives you a sense. I don't know if I can zoom in on this anymore here. Let me see here, just to give you a taste of it. Can I zoom in a little more? Looks like it's resisting too much zooming here. But you can see all eras are represented there by the uniform crew on the right-hand side. And to help tell a bit of a story here, we've got the Guardian of Forever and Carl in the background. Those of you who've been watching Discovery know what that's all about. But we got the full crew of characters here on the front cover, different uniforms, different eras, representing that you can play any era from Star Trek, and lots more information on there as well. So stay tuned. Of course, some information has gotten out on Discord and on Facebook, so I encourage you to check those out and be ready for more information in the coming weeks as we move closer toward the release date in the fall of 2024. So look forward to that. So second edition, big news there. It's been one of the many things that we've been working on over the last couple of years, but that is finally just about to come to fruition, so look forward to that coming out real soon. And finally, I wouldn't be doing my job as a project manager if I didn't try to keep up to date on my monthly Q&A. It hasn't been monthly, so apologies on that, but I'll do the best I can. This form is still live and active, so I will drop a link to the form in the description below. That way, if you have a question about about Star Trek Adventures RPG, Captain's Log RPG, second edition, whatever questions you have about the game, gameplay, mechanics, rules, etc., whatever, feel free to drop them into the form. I will get to them as I have time and ability. But I've got, it looks like I've got 5 new questions here, so I thought I'd just speed through these and give you a nice quick update here, and then we'll all go about our day. So first question here is from Lily Pike, London, UK. Will there be a source book for Strange New Worlds with Captain Pike and crew? Is it something possibly in development? I know we're now waiting for Series 3. I love this RPG series. Thank you for all the work that's been done to it on date. Well, hey, Lily, thanks so much for the kind words. Really appreciate it. I love working on this game. I've been working on it for almost 8 years now. Can't say how much. Can't just talk about how much I enjoy working on it and how much I love interacting with the fans. So it's been a great ride. Looking forward to more of it. Another 8 years. I don't know. I mean, not that the line will go on for another 8 years, but me personally, that's a long time to invest in a single game line. But I am happy to continue on for as long as I can. But as far as your question, will there be a source book on Strange New Worlds with Pike and crew? And is it possibly in development? Well, I can't really talk about what's in development, but I can say absolutely there is a source book for Strange New Worlds on my wish list. I don't know what kind of format that looks like. We do have to wait. Well, we don't have to wait, but Season 3 is coming soon, so it would make sense to wait right now. Given that we know Season 3 is coming, why do a book when we know for a fact the next season is coming? We ran into that challenge with Lower Decks a little bit when we did the Lower Decks supplement that started development after Season 2, but it was done before Season 3. We were able to fit in a little bit of content with Season 3, but that's just the challenge of doing a book based on a series in active development, is that the moment you release that book, it's already out of date. So there's a certain amount of challenge involved in the timing. But that being said, if we do develop it, and I would love to, I don't know if we would include Pike and crew in a book, because like historically for the line, we don't include the canon characters in the actual books, like the mainline canon characters, and that's entirely intentional because we want the game to be focused on you and your characters and your ships and all the adventures that you're having, and not get into the weeds on how like other major IPs do statistics for the canon characters. Like you see Luke and Darth Vader and Princess Leia and Han Solo in any Star Wars RPG. And oftentimes you'll see the main characters for other major IPs in the book, so that you end up comparing your character against them. And depending on the game system, like they don't measure up, and it's always kind of frustrating to want to play a character compared to a canon character, and you'll never quite be as good as they are because they're canon, right? But I think Star Trek Adventures is intentional in terms of the design of the system. It enables you to create a new character that is every bit as viable and capable as any of the canon characters, right? I mean, if you stat out Picard and Kirk and an original captain, they're all going to be the same, quote unquote power level. They're just different in terms of values and focuses and their life experiences, of course, which is more important for the purposes of a narrative, character-focused RPG like Star Trek Adventures. So I guess in long-winded answer, nothing yet. It's on my wish list. I'd love to do it, but time will tell. So thanks for your question. Let's move on to number 2. What we got here? Damon, Milwaukee, and smartphone. Can a player start as a captain of a Defiant class starship? Yes, absolutely. If you're playing Star Trek Adventures, talk to your group, talk to your game master, play a captain. Use character generation to create a captain character, and talk to your group and talk to your game master and say let's use a Defiant class starship, and boom, you're starting the game as a captain of a Defiant class. If you're playing Captain's Log, just as easy. Create a captain, pick the Defiant class as your ship. You're off and running. So absolutely, you can start as a captain of a Defiant class starship. This isn't the kind of game where you need to level up to being a captain. You don't have to buy a certain level of starship. You don't have to unlock classes. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You can just right out of the core book. You can create a captain, pick a Defiant class starship. You're off and running. Yeah, so hopefully that covers your question and concern. So we'll move on to number 3. What we got here? Pete Steele, State of Washington. Will there be a new release of the core? In a manner of speaking, we just announced second edition, so there will be a second edition core rulebook. I don't know if you would consider that counting as a new release of the core. We did a reprint of the first edition core book late last year, and that is in the process of being sold through on the Modiphius websites and distribution. So first edition core book, there's still a few copies out there. And of course, I'm sure there's some copies on game store shelves all around the world, but we don't expect to be re-releasing the first edition core again. We're focused, on second edition. So, depending on how you look at that question, there will be a new core book. Is that a new release of the core book? Semantics probably, but hope that answers your question, Pete. All right, number 4, Chris from Melbourne, Australia. Will there be more miniatures? Voyager, DS9, Discovery, Stranger Worlds, Lower Decks. They would be amazing. Yes, I agree completely. They would be amazing. However, there is no current plans for any new miniatures, either physical miniatures or STL miniatures. STLs being the digital files that you can purchase and then digital print on your own printer, or however you make that work. Unfortunately, there's just not we released all of our current miniatures in STL format. We even released 3 new ones last year, just to kind of test the market, see where things were, what kind of appetite or demand is there for new Star Trek STLs, and jury is still out. I think the sales haven't been what we would hoped they would be on specifically the new STLs, much less the prepackaged STLs. I don't know if it's because 3D printing is still expensive. Like, I honestly don't know. I don't 3D print myself, and I don't have a good insight into what that sub-industry looks like. So I don't know, maybe as digital printers come down in cost and materials come down in cost, maybe more people will buy digital printers and print STL files. I honestly don't know the details on that, but what I do know is that our Star Trek STLs sell, but not at a level that makes it worthwhile to create new ones. And as a result, there are no current plans for Modiphius to produce any new miniatures. I am aware that there are other game companies out there that are creating new miniatures for Star Trek, so that might be an opportunity for you to go check out some of the great games that other Star Trek licensees are creating, and grab their miniatures and use them to play Star Trek Adventures. So hopefully that answers your question, Chris. Thanks for the question. Always appreciate it. Last question is from Richard in New York. How are asset stats generated for the Federation Klingon War supplement? Say I want to create stats for Captain Sisko or the USS Defiant. Great question, Richard. Thank you for that. So if you grab your handy-dandy copy of the Federation Klingon War Tactical Campaign, either in print or digital, whichever you've ended up doing, and you hop on over to page 78 and 79. That is the section of the book that tells you all about the tactical campaign itself. And that's the 2 pages that show you the asset tables. So there's a character asset table and there's a starship asset table. These are the tables you roll on to determine what assets you have to work with in any given turn of the tactical campaign. And those 2 tables are full of either characters or starships, each of which has 5 statistics. Those statistics are derived from statistics in Star Trek Adventures. As an example, I'll pull the book out again. It was at 78, 79, right? So for instance, if you have a character in the tactical campaign, they would have a medical statistic, and that medical statistic is derived from their computers plus medicine. So by using that simple formula that's in the tactical campaign book and looking at the character sheet or the starship sheet from Star Trek Adventures, that will tell you what you need to add in order to get the derived statistic that is used in the tactical campaign. So pretty quick formula, usable for literally every product that STA has created. Any NPC, any starship that you see in any one of our products can be converted and adapted for use in the tactical campaign as an asset. So hopefully that answers your question there. Richard, thank you for the question. So this is a short, quick kind of overview. Again, talking about the Clean War Tactical Campaign book being released, second edition is on its way, and quick Q&A. I don't have anything else really worth talking about at this time, other than save your Latinum and stay tuned for more information. We have lots of stuff planned. We've got products coming out this year, including one that hasn't been announced yet. So stay tuned for that. And again, save your Latinum. Like seriously, I joke about this all the time, but I'm not kidding. Like as a gamer, I'm looking forward to what's coming out. And as a gamer and a responsible project manager, I'm trying to encourage you, if you have some discretionary gaming budget in hand for the rest of the year, set a little bit of it aside. If you're a big fan of Star Trek and a fan of Star Trek Adventures, I don't think you'll be disappointed. But enough said on that. So thanks for your time. Thanks for your support. As always, without you fans, we wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't be doing a second edition after 7.5 years. It would not be possible to continue this game without your support, without your insight, without all your questions and answers and feedback and just appreciation for the game. Thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. Live long and prosper, and I will talk to you all again real soon. Take care.